of the known Houston universe. We're working on the rest, but today we're live at Coach's Pub in Midtown. Please come by. Got a bunch of friends here already, and they're all doing shots on my dime because somebody had a good poker night last night. We're going to get to that in a second.
Let's go.
Oh, all right. You know what? I'm going to tell you. Hey, Flip, welcome in. All right. So cash game, right? $60 buy-in. It's a 25-cent, 50-cent game, but late at night it gets fucking crazy, right? Because you can buy in for whatever the big stack is. Well, guess who was a big stack all night? Like I doubled up. I doubled up early. I had like Ace King of Hearts to an Ace King 5 flop. Chucky D, what's up? I got some good news for you guys, by the way. We'll get to that. We're gonna have a big announcement on Monday, but Jerry Bow and I are working on some cool stuff together, and I think your boy's gonna go back to playing poker for a living because
nice.
Yeah, but so last night I decided I was just gonna play solid Freddy poker, right? No bullshit. And so I wanted to talk to you about this hand because I'd already cashed out for 200, you know, because we were out of chips at that point. We had 3 tables. So I let people buy chips, and I had 240 behind. All right, from a $60 buy-in. That should tell you where I was. So early position, guy raises $15. I have the big blind at 50 cents, and very loose, aggressive player. And then a good player behind him just calls the 15. And so it comes to me. It's a big blind. I'm just curious what you would do because I had 240 behind and I had 9-10 of spades. I had a Freddie hand. I had 9-10 of spades.
Yeah, that's way more you than me. I think you played this differently than I would. I would have just folded.
I know. And, but I kind of put the first guy on Ace King. And Big Freaky Mike says, call. What's up, B. Hannon? Good to see you guys, man.
I think most people in your shoes, I think with such a big stack and already a bunch of money in your pocket, like
right.
I think in that way, maybe I'd make a loose call there. But I mean, you know me, Fred. Like there's times when I talk a lot of shit, but then the blinds will go around me 5 times and I won't play a hand.
I know. Well, and I only played like 4 hands all night, right? Well, maybe 5. I want them all. Don't get me wrong. But, yeah, I mean, if it's a tournament, chip equity, man, I'm not doing that. But a cash game where I got 240 sitting in front of me and I've already got 200 in my pocket from a $60 buy-in.
Yeah.
To me, it was an easy
call. I might make a call. You're right.
So the flop goes 10-10-9.
Jeez.
I'm like, uh-oh. Uncle Freddie's about to bend somebody over. And the first guy automatically shoves. And I'm like, and then the second guy was kind of being a dick, right? He goes, well, I'm going all in, but I think I have you covered. And he's talking to me because I'm like, last to act. And I'm like, well, A, you don't have me covered. And B, go ahead. Be my guest. And he's like, well, I got you this time, Fred. And I'm like, okay. I think, what could he possibly have that has 10-10-9 beat, right? So
I mean, if he's got 10 and a higher card, like you're nervous, maybe but yeah,
it's 10, yeah. I mean, I could see that happening. Now, fucker shoves all in, and obviously I snap, right? They both had Ace King. I'm like, are you kidding me?
No wonder you won all their money.
Well, I know, but it's like, how do you play that hand like that when you totally miss the flop? And you and I talk about Ace King a lot, man. Like I rarely win with it, but when I do, it's either pre-flop or continuation bet or something like that, and then I'm gone. I don't fuck around with it. I mean,
that's a hand that, like, even if I had ace, I think I'm probably out. Like, it's just you're in a bad spot.
Well, but I mean, I was last to act, and they're both shoving, and I'm like, okay.
I just don't. I'm just saying, if you're first to act, even you make an exploratory bet. If you've got ace, you throw something out to see what's there, but you have to be willing to throw it away if you get raised because, like, chances are good somebody's got a 10. I get that. Yeah, that's a
well, and if you just continuation bet I probably would have not. Well, actually, I would have flatted and played it out because I would have tried to trap him.
And then hope that an ace hit.
yeah. And well, no, I didn't want an ace to hit. I mean, I only had like a couple of. And by the way, welcome in Virginia Buttonweed. Yeah, Chuck says I need to play them. Chuck, anytime, man. It's the Maple Leaf game on Wednesday, and oh my God, they were just like even the good players were bad last night. I mean, it was, and I didn't have many hands because when I'm playing well, I'm probably playing one hand an hour, right? I'm doing the Mike McD thing. And like I said, early on, I had the ace king and doubled up, and then I had pocket tens and flopped a boat. It was a 10-2-2 flop. And again, they're betting into me, and I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do here? And yeah, so I got to about almost $400 pretty early. And then, like I said, I was cashing people out so they could get chips. And then, man, late at night, all these guys are, and now part of it's my fault. Because I wasn't really drinking, but I was buying shots for the good players once I got up. And all of them just got fucking stupid, man. And I'm taking all their money the whole night. And I didn't feel bad about it. It was like, no, this is old school Freddie poker. This is how I play when I'm playing well. And oh my God. But that 10-9, I'm just like, are you kidding me? You're both all in with ace king on that board? Yeah, so
dummies.
Yeah, I know you wouldn't have made that call, but where I was with my chip stack, and I had to. And
I'll be honest. You know who the dumbest person is? The dumbest person is the one who, no, not you. Like the guy behind you. Yeah. Like you said, the first guy let out, and then the second guy went all in. You called.
The second guy just flatted.
Oh, right? The first guy went all in.
Yeah, no, pre-flop, it was 15 to the first guy, and then 15 to the second guy, and then I called the 15. And then after the flop, where I'm like, fuck, I ain't going anywhere now, all in.
Yeah.
And I got to call that. It's like, yeah, all I got's a boat, guys.
Yeah, the second all in is a dummy. That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, and he was an asshole, man. And Raj was there last night. Raj is in Reno. Rogelio, my brother, he had a good night too. But yeah, he said I was behaving. I really was. I was actually like, I just had it in my mind. And Raj and I talked about this beforehand. It's like, bro, I'm gonna go eat souls tonight. I'm not gonna fuck around. I'm gonna go play real fucking poker, and play my best. And yeah, and I just kept sitting there. He says, Raj says when I left him, he was coherent. Yeah, I didn't drink until the end. When after I won all the money, I'm like, this shit ain't coming out of my pocket, man. I'm gonna go pay my bar tab and have a couple shots, and I'm going home. And I did, but it was we've seen each other at our best when we're playing poker. This was as good as I can play. Like,
good for you.
And it's mostly folding, right? It's mostly getting out of shit and not getting in hands where I'm going to get my ass kicked because I'm going to hang around and try to chase and all that shit. I kept folding until I hit something big. And when I did, all those motherfuckers were coming after me and say, "Oh, we're taking Fred down tonight." I'm like, "Good luck, bitch." Yeah, you just walked into a boat. Congratulations. Well played, sir.
Good for you. That's a good feeling.
Yeah,
that is a good feeling.
Roger and I weren't at the same table, which was kind of cool because Chuck asked, what limit for it's no limit. I mean, it's and like I said, it sounds small stake because it's 25 cent, 50 cent, but you can buy in for the big stack. And by the time people started buying in late, like I said, even after selling off chips, I'm sitting on 240, and then it turns into 25 cent, 50 cent, $1, $2, $4. I mean, it turns into a lot of money on the table. And so I just waited it out until I had these opportunities. And you'll also be proud of me because there was this really hot chick who kept flirting with me the whole time. And I kept taking her money. And I kind of have I don't have a thing going right now, but I have somebody I really care about. I'm not gonna bang another chick until she tells me to get fucked, which is gonna happen.
Okay.
But she's like, hey, can I come by your place? I'm like, nah, I'm good. We'll go home to my dog, and
Jeez, imagine you had 3 or 4 drinks, that you'd have a different answer.
Oh God, yeah. But
I know you.
And I had a real good talk with Jerry Bow today. We both been talking about we got to get back on the griff, man. We both got to get back in the game, and so we're gonna go do a tournament. There's a circuit event at Horseshoe in Lake Charles, early March, and so Jerry and I are gonna go play, and and then we'll do the cash games on the side. And it's just like I gotta. Chuck asked me if I'm gay. No. I just happen to have a woman I like who's like the fucking hottest thing I've ever been around. So bite me. But yeah, we're gonna go play that tournament, and he and I have an announcement Monday about me and Jerry. We're gonna do some cool stuff. You're gonna want to be a part of some of this. But yeah, but I've been thinking instead of friggin' finding some stupid job where I'm working for somebody else, just go play poker. When I'm on my game, I make more money doing that shit. And so, like I said, Jerry and I had a long talk today about it, and he's like, "Yeah, we both got to get back to it." And I'm like, "You're right." And like, if we go play a tournament, it's just like you and I used to do. We take a little piece of each other's action. Somebody's gonna cash. So
more often than not.
I mean, when you and I and Roger used to do that, one of us cashed almost every fucking time we played, man.
Yep.
And, it's like, I just need to get back to that life. And so that's going to happen. And, I had a talk with my friend that I told her, hey, listen, if I start doing this again, it's like once a month, I'm going to be traveling somewhere. I'm going to go play a tournament. That's what I'm going to do. And she couldn't have been cooler about it. She's like, can I go? Yeah.
Fuck no.
So I don't want to say I'm all the way back, but like this was
you're on your way.
This was the first time where I just said, you know what? I'm gonna just shut everything off in my head and not drink and just show these fuckers who the best player at the table is. And and there were times, like I said, I didn't play for an hour. But when I did, and I was winning with Freddie hands, 5-7 of clubs and shit like that.
Yeah.
But because people would not get off their aces or kings, and here I am flopping a straight, and I'm not going anywhere at that point. But Virginia says Fred's doing that. I'm back quote from John Wick. I'm not all the way back, but because I need to play some higher stakes. But what I found out, and this, there's dumbasses playing high stakes too. I mean, like these guys this money means a lot to them, right? These are bartenders and shit. So $60 is a big buy-in. And so if they get up 120, they're thinking about paying rent and shit, And I've been there, a little higher stakes, but I've been there. And they play different. They play smarter. But shit, I'll sit down at a table for $1,000, and those guys still are dumb shits. So, and they're like fucking, to them, $1,000 is nothing, right? So, okay, I'm gonna wait you out. So I'm kind of ready to get back on the griff, man. Your boy's not quite back, but
you got a toe in the water.
I got a toe in the water, and I just went in with the mindset that I'm gonna play my kind of game, and we'll see what you guys can do with it. And yeah, that's what happened.
Good for you.
But anyway, it's so funny because I was telling Jerry, I wish he'd come out last night. I wish you could come play this game because you would just eat it alive. And especially once I gets to you, because there's two guys that they're just like nuts, right? And I'm just waiting them out. Like when I had those pocket tens and the guy's raising $10 and I fucking flopped the boat. I'm like, okay, what's next? I'm all in. I guess I call.
Of course.
So man, it was fun. It it wasn't like, the old days when you and I were and Rogelio were hanging out in Vegas, but boy, it was a cool fucking night. I fucking loved it. And I just, and I hate to quote Rounders, but when Mike McD got his money back, it's like he said, that's the first time I've felt alive in forever. Goddamn, I felt alive, man. I felt like me. And
good for you.
Yeah, I mean, it was just so fucking awesome. Lamont asked if I still have the RV. Nope. The ex got that, along with everything else, including my land, my dog. And you know what? But it's all right, because she would have never stood for me staying out all night playing poker. Because I did it a couple times when we were still married. And she was.
What's the worst she was going to do? Divorce you? Big deal.
Yeah, well, she did. So it's okay.
Don't threaten me with don't threaten Freddie with a good time.
Oh God, and yeah. So so when I'm out last night, part of me just wanted to text her and say, "Hey, guess who's out here making money while you're being a fucking curmudgeon bitch?" I don't know. Did I say that out loud? Okay. Anyway.
Probably.
So, how's your basketball betting been, man? You know what? I feel so bad. I was gonna text you guys with a hockey play last night, and fucking Leaf Stars over 6.5. And I got busy at the table and totally forgot. And I'm watching the game, and there's like 9 goals, and I'm like, oh goddamn, I suck.
Yeah, no, it's been good, man. It's like I've had 2 days this season where it's just been like a disaster day, where it's been like 3-7 or 1-9, some fucking terrible day. But I'm still up like 26 units on the season. Like, it's still been an awesome run. So, like, when you have those days, it sucks. You lose 12 units or whatever, and it's like, why am I even doing this?
And you're public, so people are going to fade you.
Yeah, then you're an asshole. You don't know what you're doing. But then, the next 4 days, you're winning 5 units a day, and you're up. And it's like, it's the grind, man. It's college basketball. You're going to have outlier things. Like, it's not always going to go the way you think it. And that's why I tell people all the time, man, if you can't handle having a big losing day, you're betting too much.
Right.
Like, if you can't handle those kind of swings, like where if you can't handle a 2-8 day, then you're betting more than you should. And
right.
Because trust me, a 2-8 day hurts me too, but I feel like I can make it back over the next 3 or 4 days. But if a 2-8 day like wipes you out, then you're not bankroll managing properly.
Well, and it's funny because I've always followed you on college basketball because you're a savant, right? And this year, the friggin' home dogs in the Big 12, I have been betting like crazy. So I bet Kansas.
Yeah.
UH. I bet Kansas.
That was a
State.
crazy line, by the way.
Yeah, that was stupid. It was 5 when I bet it. It wound up being 1 at the end. But yeah, so I bet Kansas that game. I have money line Kansas. I bet Kansas State against Kansas the other night, and BC, who's here, did first half UH Oklahoma State, which was a smart play. I didn't. They didn't cover the.
I did that one.
Yeah,
they didn't cover the full game.
No, but first half they did, and
yep.
Man, those home dogs in the Big 12 are gold, and it doesn't matter who they are.
Yeah.
West Virginia sucks, but you get them at home.
Yeah, but they win home games.
Yeah.
Cincinnati. Yeah, I don't think Cincinnati's good at all, but any given night at home, they're scary.
So yeah, I've been like on a 4-1 run thanks to just doing that. I'm not playing any other basketball. Every day anymore. So I do listen sometimes in the mornings when I'm not, hungover from poker. But yeah, man, it's just like I'm just doing the Big 12 thing and just playing spot plays on that. And my God, it's easy money. I mean, it's better than my friggin' hockey overs.
Yeah. I mean, and really there's a lot of conferences that way. Big Ten's very similar. Like, it's shitty Big Ten teams at home. Okay. Like Michigan beat Wisconsin yesterday. I mean, Wisconsin is pretty good, probably the second or third best team in the Big Ten. Michigan is terrible, and it's at Michigan. Michigan wins. It's really as simple as that. Like if you find like don't look at I've been trying really hard not to bet road favorites in these major conferences. It's just it's bad business, man.
Like I've been following the Big East a little bit. Like the really good teams in the Big East, probably okay, but not enough to actually bet, right? I mean,
the Big East has been like the worst conference for home teams. Like when if you look at the 6 major conferences, the Big East has been the worst one, and historically it's one of the best. But it hasn't mattered a lot this year. And like teams like Creighton, who usually have like super good home court, Marquette, because those are the Marquette and Creighton are the long road trips in the Big East, because I mean they're not really eastern cities. They're in in DePaul. But DePaul barely counts because they're not a real basketball team.
Yeah.
But going to Milwaukee and especially going to Nebraska it's a big trip for those East Coast schools, and their home courts aren't as good as they've been recently. So, it's weird because like that's one of the ones where you expect it to be big, but it hasn't been that big. But every other conference really has been like, you don't want to mess with it. And there's a couple of them tonight, like Arizona's a favorite at Utah. Utah's the toughest home court in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
And Arizona's kind of stunk on the road all year. Arizona lost at Oregon State. Like if you're losing at those schools, now you're going to the mountains. Like that's a tough trip, man. So it's the first thing I look for in the morning is all right, who are the home dogs? Let me see if I like them. That's the way I'm tapping.
And I'm doing that with some of the other conferences, but definitely the Big 12. I mean, and you and I have been talking about this now for a couple months. I mean, every trip is tough, right? I mean, even and it's like it's not just that the arenas are tough. Like getting to Manhattan, Kansas, from anywhere. I mean, the easiest trips are Houston and TCU, right? Because you fly into DFW and you fly into Bush or Hobby. But
Cincinnati's not bad now. Central Florida's obviously not bad, but like for the most part, those are shit trips. Like it's like you get on you get on a plane and then you get on a bus after you get off the plane.
Well, you've been to Manhattan a few times, just like I have.
Yeah, Ames, Iowa. It's the same thing.
Oh God, yeah.
There's no airport in Ames.
And that's the thing. Iowa State, good team, not great team, but what are they, like 20-0 at home this year? I mean,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and it's a tough place to get to. It's a tough place to play, and they have nothing else to do there because Iowa, and they go to basketball games and they scream and they get loud and it's a good crowd and their team's pretty good at home. Their women are ugly, but that's okay. David says, "Dang, Fred, glad you won. Tread lightly on the poker thing, bro. I'm okay. I'm okay on this. I really have been thinking for a long time about getting back into the life and just, I got nothing stopping me from doing it. And last night was fun. And, now the real shit, I'll be very different about. And AJ's seen me when I'm really serious. Like everybody thinks I'm their friend when we play for, $60 buy-in. I'm a lot like AJ when we're playing serious money. I'm a total dick. I will.
Nobody wants to be my friend at a poker table.
Oh God, no. But like when we're playing for $50, I'll be your friend. But when I'm serious, I'm, I have a lot of AJ in me. I'll just say that. And I will talk shit, and I will try to get in your head, and I will try to fuck with you, and get you to make a mistake. And AJ's so good at that, and always has been. Yeah, no, he really is. I mean, I'm not saying that as bullshit. I mean, like I said, we played a lot of cards together, but yeah.
I'm probably a lot better shit talker than poker player, to be honest.
I don't know about that. You're better. You're better than you want to let on. I mean, but and so's Roger. I mean, both you guys are actually really fucking good, and that's why I love when we take each other's action. But so the UH Kansas game, I had a conversation with a guy after the game, and he's like, UH isn't good enough. UH isn't good enough to win the national championship. And I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, can they win it? Yeah. Will they win it? I don't think so. Because my issues with them. They go through these stretches where they can't shoot. They miss free throws. And lately the interior defense hasn't been very good. And I think part of that was the same thing that happened last year. They're so intense all year long. These guys get worn down. And I think those are their problems moving forward. But when they're playing their best game, when Cryer is actually doing catch and shoots and making his threes, and Shed's playing well, I mean, they can beat anybody. But I'm saying right
doing
now,
that for 6 straight games is the scary part.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm kind of like, as much as I love this team and as much as I love Kelvin, I just don't see it. There's going to be one game in there where they can't fucking hit a shot.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the Rick Barnes way. Like that's what Rick Barnes has been for a long time. Like he's been a team that always had great defense, and I mean they're really good defensively again. But the offense is hit or miss, and I think that's the thing with that's the thing with UH right now. It's not that their offense is bad,
at home,
especially at home,
they're great. Jesus Christ, yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is they're not going to play. They're not going to play at home.
Nope.
Is the issue? It's really difficult for teams that are way better on defense than offense to win a championship, but there's times that it's happened. Like when Virginia won the national championship, that's how they won it. It's just you have to have the perfect run, and you have to have a really easy path. Now, I shouldn't say an easy path, but you have to have some things break your way. Right. And Duke getting knocked out was probably a break for Virginia, but that's what it'll take. It'll take some teams getting knocked out of the way, and it'll take some shot luck. Like you'll have to have it. Like Houston's good enough where they can maybe fade a one bad shooting night during a tournament. I mean Houston's going to win their first game no matter what, but they can maybe fade a game against an 8 or a 9 seed. If they've got a bad shooting night, they can probably survive it. But once you get in there against like the 4 seeds of the world, which are going to be like, let's say a team like Duke or Kansas, like if you shoot poorly,
or Kentucky, you might get Kentucky as the 4th seed.
Yeah. If you shoot poorly, you go home.
Yeah,
they will beat Baylor. If you shoot poorly against Baylor, Baylor will beat you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what they're looking at, and it is hard to imagine them having 6 straight games where their offense clicks. But the thing about Houston that I like is when you're not a really great shooting team, you have to have extra possessions, and they are the masters of extra possessions. They are so good at offensive rebounding, and they are a great turnover team in that they don't turn it over themselves, and they force a lot of turnovers. So if you're a shitty shooting team, which Houston is, let's just call it what it is.
They're not good.
Relative to the top tier contenders, they're a bad shooting team.
Right.
They're a dreadful free throw shooting team.
I know, and they have been under Sampson the whole time. Even when they had great shooters, they can't make free throws.
But the things that they do is they create those extra possessions and they play slow. Like they're almost, I think they're like bottom 20 in the country in tempo, and that's a big deal. Like you want to play fewer possessions when you're not a good shooting team, because every one of those extra possessions that you get is huge. So as long as they're not playing in 70 possession games, they've got a good chance. And now that said, I mean, they didn't hit 70 possessions against Kansas and didn't get it done anyway, because I mean that's against level.
And they were never in that game either. And
nope.
And you could just tell, like from the beginning, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to cash the ticket right now because they got no shot. But that Virginia team you mentioned, I think that's kind of what they are, because they do play great defense like Virginia did. But Virginia had one great player who could score, and maybe Jamal Shedd's that guy. I don't know. I mean, we'll find out. But first, guess what?
I would say that. I mean, That Virginia team, remember, they had Ty Jerome, they had Kyle Guy, they had DeAndre Hunter, and all three of those guys were like
Hunter, DeAndre Hunter was the best player on that team.
But all three of those guys were over 40% three-point shooters, and that's why Virginia's never been back to that. That was the one year where Virginia, like, they had a serviceable offense in the Bennett era, but they did have shooters that year. Like, I don't know where those guys are for UH.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it's funny because I hang out at PJ's all the time, and it's a UH bar, and we talk about friggin' UH basketball constantly. And by the way, I hope PJ's better. He had COVID, and then he came back for a day, and he tested negative, and then he got it again really bad. So they've been closed for like 4 days. Yeah. Well, PJ's older than me, but but we talked about this. Like, UH has two guys who can create their own shot: Jamal Shed and Juwan Roberts in the post. Cryer is a catch and shoot guy, man. He can't create his own shot, and every time he tries to, he misses. Anyway, guess who we have to bring in? Because we haven't seen him in a while. He looks as handsome as ever. Our buddy,
been busy.
Dr. Kane.
It's been busy. How y'all doing?
What's up, brother?
What's up, boys?
You're
Man,
you're
it's
either
been busy.
traveling. Yeah, you're either busy, traveling, or sick.
That's
pretty much it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I like to, live hard. Is that a real palm tree, AJ?
It is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm doing it wrong. I messed this whole thing up.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
my boy's on a beach doing this, and
there's no beach. There would need to be water for it to be a beach. I'm just in Vegas.
Well, it still looks cool. So you should have lied. You should have just lied about it. I would have believed you.
Yeah, but you're like operating on boobs all the time. So is that what makes you sick, or what?
I don't know, but
let me inspect your boob
complain.
job. Yep,
right.
Looks pretty good. Looks level.
Right. I can't complain. I'm just trying to do God's work out here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What a man.
Yeah.
How
y'all doing?
I'm doing great, brother.
Are you ready? Are we ready for the Super Bowl? I don't know y'all's picks. Who are you picking?
I'm probably taking the Niners. We're going to talk about it a little bit later in the show, but
probably.
But I've also been getting my
AJ.
I've been getting my ass kicked by Patrick Mahomes the last 2 weeks, so I'm kind of like, because I love the Bills, I love the Ravens, so did AJ. So we've both been wrong. So if we're both on the same side of this again, probably should go the other way.
Mahomes is going to have to take all my money. That's what it's going to end up being.
Yeah.
I hear you. I'm from Missouri, so I kind of lean towards the Chiefs, but
I can't blame you. Blame you. It's been the winning side.
The dude is good.
He's
just
good.
A star.
Good sports player.
Yeah, and by the way, their coach is pretty good. But I as much as I love Andy Reid, man, I think Kyle Shanahan is. And again, this is one thing where maybe AJ and I are just wrong. I mean, we both love Kyle Shanahan, and I love what he does with this team, and I just feel like they're the better team. But I thought the Ravens were better, so I could be wrong.
Yeah, totally. I heard some stuff where it's like, and we don't, you don't want to hear Plastic Surgeon talk about sports probably, but they're talking about Brock Purdy in a system. He's a system quarterback. I'm like, dude, every team is a system. Yeah. It's really the ability to break, when you get pressured to roll out of that, and both of them do that well. I think it's gonna be a really good game, but I'm stoked for it.
No,
so, anyways.
I agree because everybody has a system, right? But it is when the play breaks down.
You have to be good in the system or you suck.
What do you do when the play breaks down? And, Mahomes is great at that. But, Brock Purdy, it's like, I'm so tired of hearing, Mr. Irrelevant. What a cute story. It's like, no,
it's the dumbest conversation.
The guy can
dumbest
play.
Conversation.
And
it's annoying to listen to.
And we actually talked about this last week because AJ and I have been watching this guy when he was at friggin' Iowa State. And most of the time, he just handed the ball off to Breece Hall. And he had that one big receiver he'd throw to. But the guy didn't make many mistakes. And you give Kyle Shanahan a guy who doesn't make a lot of mistakes, he's gonna play well for you. So Yeah, we'll see what happens.
For sure. It's gonna be good.
And
anybody that wants hair, come do it.
Yeah. Okay. Tell them about the hair. I'm gonna do this.
Let's see. Hair. It's easy. You don't have to go to sleep. Once you're numb, it doesn't hurt. You can watch a movie. You can listen to your, AirPods. You get your hair back. It's a great way to restore your confidence. It's okay to look good and feel good about your hair and how you want to look without having to have a crappy hairline or comb over. And most of the time, I'd say 90% of guys are good candidates to do hair transplant and neograft. So, it's not like, oh, you have to just commit to going bald, but hey, man, if you want to do that, it's all good. But that's it, man. It's simple. It's easy. I bought neograft and do it because I needed it. And I've done it like 3 times, so it's just,
and your hair looks fantastic.
That's it, baby.
Yeah. You look great.
Well, it could be a little fuller, but it looks good right now because it's dark in the room.
But see, AJ looks good bald. I don't. I'm glad I have hair. I got to get it dyed again because I have like 10 different colors.
Yeah, no, you look terrible bald, but AJ looks good bald. I would look terrible bald. It would look horrendous, like a big egg, giant dome. You have to have the slope, and I have the high forehead, and it would just look, it would look awful. And so I'm not cool with that. So yeah,
a lot of dudes aren't.
Yeah, that's great.
And
it's easy. I'm doing it for $3.50 a graft, which, to give you like an idea, if you typically need like 2,000 grafts, that's a big savings, right? So it's normally $4 is kind of low end. So it's a big savings. 50 cents a graft is a big savings. And I've been offering that for several months now to all our listeners here. So, but it's the biggest thing is that it's easy. That's why I bought the device and I do it.
Yeah. And so I think I had 2,500 grafts when we did it. A little more than that. So guys, that's a lot of money you can save. All you have to do is go to HoustonHairSpecialist.com/get Falcon Hair. And you're gonna
you can just I think you can Google get Falcon hair now. That's the did it as a keyword. You just put get Falcon hair.
Yeah, we're a big deal. And you get your
we're cool.
Your consultation for free, which is what, $150 usually.
$5,000. It's usually a $5,000 consult.
Yeah.
So you get it for free.
Well, and I got to tell you guys, it works because one of us has a 28-year-old girlfriend. She likes the hair. Okay, I'm just saying.
Damn.
It ain't me, baby.
It ain't me. I'm sorry. You talk about my life. I got palm trees. I ain't got that.
We gotta hang out, Fred. I gotta see this.
Oh yeah, no. I'm gonna.
I don't believe it till I see it. Okay. I said I'm from Missouri. You gotta show me.
No, we gotta go out next week. There's so much backstory to this that's not even funny.
Right. Oh, there has to be an awesome backstory that I can't hear.
Oh God, AJ knows the whole story.
It is pretty funny.
Did you drug her?
No. It's surprised it's not the other way.
We'll
that's the way it should be.
No, we'll talk when we go out.
Way cooler.
I'll tell you the whole thing.
All right.
It's.
Oh, okay.
I have to tell you, and AJ can vouch for this. The reveal is way worth the wait. It is.
Okay.
I know. Cool. It's like the worst thing ever.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a good story.
Yeah, it is.
Fantastic. Okay.
All right, brother. We'll talk.
We'll save it for our R-rated podcast.
Yeah. Well. I'll text you later. Let's get together soon.
The HBO special.
We definitely need to have a drink, and nothing but love for you, brother. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
And, man. Yeah, I'll tell you the whole story. You'll laugh your ass off.
That's all I want to do. All right. Well, y'all have fun. Talk to you soon.
See you, Doc.
Okay. Yeah. He doesn't know.
That's funny.
Not many. Not many people know the whole story. You do. BC knows the story. I would say about 5 of my friends know the whole truth. But yeah,
it's a good story. It is a good story.
And like one of my friends I was telling the other day, it's like, oh my God, the reveal is so worth it. It's like watching Rick and Morty and Pickle Rick, and he's like, come here, Morty. This is a big reveal. It's gonna be worth it. Yeah, that's kind of this.
Still never seen an episode of that show.
Well, like I always told you, watch season 3, episode 3. Watch Pickle Rick. If you don't think that's the funniest fucking thing ever, then okay, we're fine.
But then the problem is, if I watch the funniest episode and then I go to watch the rest, I'm going to be wildly disappointed.
Well, no, I'll rank them for you. I'll tell you that. Okay, if you like that one, try this one.
Okay.
Season 1, where the devil's in it, you would love, right?
And then we'll just get to the point where it's like, okay, I didn't like that one, and then you could say, okay, well, you're done.
You can stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the best ones, man. I'm not going to steer you wrong where you're like,
all right.
oh, fuck, go watch this one. And you'll be like, oh, that sucked. I'm like, yeah, I know. I mean, I'm going to give you the best ones because that's how I roll. Anyway, so getting back to college basketball, which, and I know we talked about this a little bit last week. And I know they're going to fuck up in the tournament, but, man, I keep watching Purdue. And it's like, why don't they just fucking throw the ball to goddamn Fat Jokic every time? I don't think anybody could beat him.
That dude's amazing.
He's so hard to stop.
I mean, yeah, and a lot of it is, and that's why, I mean, Purdue at home is almost unstoppable because he's going to get his whistle. And like he's a really tough guy to officiate. And I've talked about him. I said he's very similar to Yao Ming.
Yeah.
In that he's an excellent free throw shooter. So the whistle to him is so vital. And it goes both ways because if they're calling fouls on Zach Edey just because he's big, then Purdue's dead. They're dead in the water.
Right.
But that doesn't happen at home. They're not calling ticky-tack fouls on Edey, at Purdue. But on the road, sometimes that's happened. And then if he's in foul trouble, it's like, well, what is that team? And on the other side, like it's almost impossible to defend him without fouling. Like you can't do it.
Right.
He's a giant. And like in the NBA, there's guys who can handle it. There's ways to handle it. In college, there's like Nebraska doesn't have someone who can handle that. Like they don't exist. Like you can go to Iowa. They don't have a player who can just slow that guy down. It's just it's not real. So he is. I mean, he's a freak first of all, but he's one of the most difficult players to officiate in the country.
Right.
And when the whistle's going his way, I mean, they're as good as anybody. But I mean, God, I can't stop thinking about they lost to freaking Fairleigh Dickinson, and it's like I don't know how it happens because you talk about a team who shouldn't be equipped to even be on the court with Zach Edey. It's a Fairleigh Dickinson, and they beat him. So crazy shit happens sometimes, man.
Yeah, I just but I watch him play, and I'm like, there's so many times where he's just in the post. It's just like throw him the fucking ball because the guy's either going to get a layup or he's going to get fouled. And nobody can stop that. There's not a team in the country that has a guy that can stop him, and like, when I look at UH and I'm like, yeah, if they wound up playing Purdue, well, I love Tugler and he's getting better and better every game, but that kid's like 190 pounds, man.
It's a different animal.
It ain't happening. I don't care what your wingspan is. I don't care that you can block shots because all that guy has to do is put his butt on you and you're on your ass.
Yeah.
And, and so I look at them and we talked about UConn and you mentioned it last week. It's like, it sounds stupid to say I don't trust them in the tournament, even though they won the championship last year.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of with you. I don't think this team is as complete as last year's was. And I could easily see them going out in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, that wouldn't shock me. And they're their guards are very young. Obviously, they're a team that relies heavily on big men too. But in the tournament, it's guard play. Like you got to have good guard play. And anytime you're relying heavily on freshman, sophomore guards, that's it's worrisome. So not that I don't think they're good. I do think they're very good.
No, I'm with you on that. But yeah,
they're certainly in the group of teams that can win it this year. But I think it's going to be tougher for them than it was a year ago. And remember, they weren't like a huge favorite going in last year, so they got hot at the right time.
All right, so I'm sorry I've monopolized your time talking about college basketball, but
it's all right. I figured it'd be all Super Bowl this week.
Well, now we'll do Super Bowl. Let's get your thoughts on the game. I know we've hinted at it a little.
Yeah, I will say this. If I had to play a side, it would be the 49ers. That said, I don't think I'm going to play a side. I don't think I'm going to have a bet on -2 or +2. I think there's way better ways to get at this game. I like the beautiful thing is with the prop market is there's so many that it's impossible for all of them to be sharp. And we've spent a lot of time trying to pick out some that just don't make sense to us.
Right.
And I think that there are beatable props in the market. And now some of those props are in a way similar to a game line. So it could be like, for instance, I like San Francisco in the first quarter. I don't know what's going to happen in the rest of the game.
I like that. Ooh.
I don't know what's going to happen the full game because Kansas City's defense is just elite in the second half. But I mean, San Francisco starts fast. And I think they start fast in this game. And you're talking about Kyle Shanahan, who is like one of the true offensive geniuses in football, now has an extra week to prepare. I think that he's going to come out with some gadgetry. He's going to come out with some trick stuff. I think they score early. But that said, I don't know what happens for the rest of the game. I really don't. So I'll play stuff like that. But a lot of it is going to be just some props that we found that we feel like have I don't want to say like crazy good value, but they're mostly props that we're looking at and saying, okay, I could see the game going this way. I could see this happening.
Right.
One of my favorite ones. I asked Scott this on air, and I'll ask you and just see what your first thought is. If I said both teams score a rushing touchdown, what do you think the yes no would be? Like, what's the plus minus?
The yes should be about plus 120.
Okay,
that's what it should be. I'm guessing it's less than that.
It's actually plus 125. Like, so Scott was like, I think it should be. That's pretty good pull. I thought it was going to be like a minus money prop. Like, because the assumption, I mean, McCaffrey to score a touchdown is like minus 280, something stupid like that.
Yeah.
And Pacheco scored every game in the playoffs. Like, he's the reason why the Chiefs offense has been good the last several weeks is because Pacheco's been running the ball. So, like, my thought was both these teams are going to have some success running. They'll both get in there at some point. So at plus money,
even if it's not McCaffrey, I mean, they'll give the ball to Debo, right?
Yeah.
And listen, this is the reason why I'm leaning 49ers on everything is Debo's had 2 weeks to get healthy. And he played pretty well in the championship game. But and I know you and I have talked about this. Like, when San Francisco sucked, it was because Debo and Trent Williams were hurt.
Yeah.
When Debo's healthy, he opens up everything for that offense, including McCaffrey. And it's not just that he catches a ball; it's that he runs the ball. It's like he's such a weapon. Hell, man, I could go out there and throw for 300 yards with Debo if he's right.
He's good, man. He's legit. And in the playoffs, generally Debo has gone under receiving props and over rushing props. So they use him uniquely in the playoffs. That's why I say, like, Kyle's going to come out with some sneaky shit. And
that's why we both trust him, man. He's going to do that. You know,
I was at Radio Row today, and one of Kyle. The way I know Chris Sims, we'll have Chris Sims on our morning show tomorrow. I recorded it today, but the way that I know him is from Rod Babers, my old co-host, and Kyle Shanahan was in their same little friend group, and so Kyle and Chris are like super tight.
Oh yeah,
and I mean, this is what Chris was saying, like, and even off air was saying, Yeah, Kyle's going to have something that's like, because everybody's jocking Spagnuolo right now, and rightfully so. The dude,
right? No, he's been fantastic, but
man, he was like, Shanahan's going to have something that he hasn't seen.
Yeah,
he's going to surprise him.
And that's the thing, and I know we have our biases going back to, Kyle and Chris were at UT when we were covering UT, and so, but man, Kyle is such a great offensive coach. He will definitely have something, and I can't wait to see. Welcome in Jerry Bo Knows, my buddy Jerry Bo and I.
Oh, what's up, Jerry?
Jerry and I are going to have a big announcement on Monday. How about that? If you guys
swimsuit
like
calendar, let's go.
Oh yeah. Oh no. I'm sexier than him in a Speedo, but no, we got some cool stuff coming, and my buddy Big John just walked in. What's up, man? I haven't seen you in forever. Yeah. Oh yeah. You're so busy. Anyway. Yeah. But yeah, man. I think. I don't know, man. It's like I should stop betting against Mahomes and the Chiefs because they just beat my ass every week, right?
Yeah, it's getting old. It's hard, especially Mahomes as a dog. It's like if you're not Tom Brady or Joe Burrow, you haven't beat the guy, and it's tough, dude. It's tough to find a way to but. The truth of it is, and this is what I told the guys yesterday, and I think I'm the only guy on the Dream Pod who likes the Niners. And again, I don't love the -2. I'm not like crazy about the Niners going to win this game. I'm just saying, if you force me to make a play, it would be on the Niners.
And I would.
But my thought was, if you asked me who was better, like if you asked me what the point spread of this game would have been if they played this in Week 15. It would have been like San Francisco -4.5 on a neutral. Like that's how much better San Francisco was. And if you asked me before San Francisco played Baltimore, it might have even been more. Like when San Francisco played Baltimore, it was kind of like, okay, San Francisco's not far and away the best team. Up until that Baltimore game, it was like pretty much consensus that San Francisco was better than everybody.
Right.
And then after that game, it was like, okay, Baltimore and San Francisco are better than anybody. And Baltimore's probably a little bit better. It seems like the market has done is said, okay, the Chiefs, who were good all season, but not Chiefs good. They're not what they've been the last several years. But because they've had a good playoff run, and it's undeniable, the games that they've played, like going to Buffalo and winning, and then going to Baltimore and winning. Like the Dolphins that was a cold game. The Dolphins defense was banged up, whatever. But there is like the Bills win and the Ravens win were such good wins that you have to give them some credit, but you also have to they're just 2 games. They're 2 games out of 20 that the Chiefs played this year. And the 49ers, these 2 games that they've gone against the Lions and the Packers, they didn't look the best for sure. And I'm not trying to pretend like, oh, everything's A-okay with the Niners.
Right.
What I do know is at their best, and the 49ers haven't been at their best since probably December, and I get that. But at their best, the 49ers are better than the Chiefs, and it's honestly not that close. It just depends. Will the best 49ers show up? That's the $1 million question.
Right.
I'm gonna assume that with Kyle with some extra prep is going to be ready for this. I think it's a legacy game for him. I think if Kyle can win this game. He finally, because everybody said like Kyle Shanahan's best play caller in the world, but he's okay as a head coach. Kyle Shanahan wins this game. Like he's okay as a head coach. It's Kyle Shanahan is the best offensive mind in football, and he's good enough to win a Super Bowl as a head coach. And like Andy Reid's reputation doesn't change, win or lose this game.
Right.
And Andy Reid, think about Andy Reid. It took him 20 years to win a Super Bowl. Until he met Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid was a loser in the playoffs, if you recall. Like that was his reputation, was a choker. And that's what Kyle is dealing with now.
Peyton Manning. He was Peyton fucking Manning.
It hasn't been 20 years for Kyle, but I just think he's too good not to break through at some point. So again, I don't think it's I don't think the side or the total are the best ways to attack this game. But if I had to play a side, it'd be the Niners. I'd trust that.
And I'm with you on that. And I'm kind of with. I also like this is Kyle's time, man. It really
I think
is.
so.
Like, and again, and maybe you and I are biased because we spent so much time watching kid grow from stupid receiver at UT into one of the best play callers I've ever seen. And then seeing all the guys that work for him that have turned into great coaches, like the kid at Houston for the Texans. I mean, he's been a Shanahan guy his whole life, and he's not as good a play caller as Kyle, but you see the guys he's developed, man, and it's incredible.
Sean McVay is like a top 10 coach in the league.
Yes. I mean, it's time. Mike McDaniels is a hell of a coach. I mean,
yeah.
I do so want to get high with Mike McDaniels, though. I bet I have weed as good as his. But
I like that he just vapes on the sideline and doesn't give a shit.
God,
He's just
yeah. That would be me. I'd be like, all right, man. Okay, let's run A12 route. Shout out to Spirit J for being in. B. Hannon, who says 75% of the bets coming into Vegas are for the Chiefs. I can see that. I want to shout out to my friend Erica, who's tuned in. Most amazing person that I know, I'm just saying she's just awesome. That's all.
Okay. I mean, I'm sitting right here, but okay.
Well, no, you're one of my 3 most awesome friends on the planet. Let's be honest.
Okay, but not number one.
Yeah, you're not as cute as her. But no, the thing is, it was so funny when people used to ask me, it's like, do you guys hate each other? I'm like, dude, when you do a show with somebody that long, you either get where you can't stand being around each other or you love that person for life. And I'm like, AJ is like one of my favorite people on the planet. And I'll never apologize for that, man. It's like, yeah, you can make fun of me. You can tell me how stupid I am. Doesn't matter how ugly I am because, they're true. But the reality is, man, it's like I love doing the show with you. I still love you like a brother, and I need to get out there more. But yeah, man, I mean, there's no negatives, man. It's like, and people still think, oh God, well, he makes fun of you and you make fun of him. Like, yeah, because we're boys.
That's okay.
And
that's what it's all about.
Because my best times are still, we were talking about earlier, but we're playing poker together. And then we sit down afterwards and talk about every freaking hand we played. And it was just, I mean, that's kind of what things are. So, yeah, you guys can think we hate each other. We really don't. Well, he might hate me. I don't care. But everybody, I'll tell everybody I know. I fucking love AJ like a brother. I mean, he's just such a great guy. We've had so much fun together. And guess what? I don't think our story is told yet. I think we're going to do some more shit together.
I wouldn't be here every Thursday if I hated you, Fred. Now,
yeah, because
that said,
because I can't pay you right now unless I have another good night of poker.
Yeah, that said, I won't be here next Thursday. So don't take that as I hate Fred now, but I will not be here next Thursday.
Yeah. But hey, man, I love you. Thank you so much for this. As always. Sorry, my phone was ringing. And for those of you who really think that there's people that really still think we have a beef from our Blitz days. I'm like, there's no beef. This guy's,
no.
I love this guy so much, and I love his family. He's just a good guy, and I love having him on every Thursday, and we have a great time together. So for those of you who think that there's some dislike, yeah, man, smoke some more weed because you guys need to chill the fuck out a little bit. That's all.
No, we're all good, man. I try to avoid beef. I'm a happy guy. I want to be friends with everybody.
Oh yeah.
B. Hannon says just with Jason Braddock. Yeah, I don't think Jason Braddock likes me, but
that wasn't your fault. My God, you were out of fucking town. That still drives me nuts. Like everybody's blaming AJ for that shit. AJ had to go to a funeral in Oregon. It wasn't even in town, man, and they're going after him, and I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get pissed off about that again, but Jesus Christ. Yeah, like so. Okay, so here's your thing, and
you know what though. That's the life of the boss, and you've been in those shoes before too. It's like you're expected to fix everything, and honestly, like a lot of relationships I had got tested through that COVID because I had to let friends go from the radio station, guys I'd known for 10 years. I had to let go, and then I had to deal with people feeling like there was mistreatment one way or the other, and people were mad at me, and like people I considered my friends that truth be told, Jerry Bow. I don't remember the last time I talked to Jerry Bow. I hold no ill will towards Jerry Bow, but Jerry Bow was upset with me at one point about how I handled some things back then, and I apologized to Jerry. Like I'm like I said earlier, I don't like having beef with anybody. Your girl Holly blocked me forever because of something that I had to do as a boss. Like she wanted me to reprimand someone for making fun of her on the air. It's like when you're the boss, everybody's got a reason to dislike you. I get it. That's kind of like the not fun thing about being the boss. But that's like I said, I hold no ill will towards even Jason Braddock. I don't hold any ill will towards Jason Braddock. Like it was just a shitty thing, and we went our separate ways. But
but you and I talked about this a lot because I've been in that position before, and I had your back all the way. And if you fuck something up, I would tell you, but I wouldn't tell you in front of anybody else. It's just like, but you didn't. I mean, it's like, and Jerry says no ill will, like Jay, all good man. Jerry,
my guy.
I love Jerry. I mean, Jerry's a brother to me.
He's a good dude, man.
He's a great guy, and I'm so glad to have him back in my life because, we didn't have a falling out. We had a business deal that went bad, and that was my fault because I trusted the wrong motherfucker, and I hope that guy dies on his own blood. But the truth is, I'm just glad to have him back in my life, and it's really cool because now everything is back to me being me, and Jerry's a big part of that, just like you are. But I know you were like the thing that drove me nuts, and no offense to Jason or anybody else, but we're all going through COVID, and okay, station, great idea to fucking send us to Beaumont for a fucking spreader show. Where Josh Ennis and I did the show together. You weren't even in fucking town.
I was gone.
I know. And and Josh and I both get it, right? And I love Josh. I mean, great guy. I mean, we were lucky to have him for nothing. But he texted me Christmas Day and said, "Man, I just tested positive for COVID." That was a day after we were there. That was my birthday. And and I'm like, oh shit. And so I went and got tested, and then we all had it. And then everybody fucking goes nuts at the station because it wasn't your fault. It wasn't your goddamn doing. You didn't send us to fucking Beaumont. And you're out of town at a funeral for somebody who died from COVID. And, and like everybody's going after you. And I'm like, what the fuck, guys? He's not even in town.
Listen, like I said, there was no win for me on that shit. Like everybody thought I was like trying. I was trying to give everyone COVID. I'm gonna put this out here. I'm against COVID. I don't like it. I never have. I've never been team COVID. I'm anti-COVID always. I actually never got it for the first time until this, a few months ago was the first time I ever got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never liked that shit. So I don't want anybody to get it, much less get sick from it or die from it. I don't need that. But I also, this is another secret. I have no control over it. I have no power over COVID to tell it to fuck off.
I thought you were the COVIDeer.
It would have been nice.
You're the COVIDeer. You control it. Apparently.
I wish. If I had that power, my goodness, I wouldn't be working anymore. I would just I'd have everyone send donations, and I'd be like I'd be like your boy over there at who's working at the summit, Joel Osteen, and just be like, COVID be gone. And, the power of Christ compel COVID out of everyone. And that would be that. But I don't have that kind of clout with Big J. So it's not me, I promise.
But I knew that was a new thing for you to be in charge of all those people. And nobody should have to go through what we went through with COVID, right? I mean, in any business, in anything in life, that was bullshit. And, and I felt so bad because, like, everybody was getting so pissed off like it was your fault. I'm like, goddamn, blame me and Josh. Or blame my goddamn brother Mag for taking Trey to that fucking strip club in Beaumont, and they all come back with it. Yeah, let's not let AJ's in fucking
don't get
Oregon,
lap
bro.
dances during the peak of COVID.
So but anyway, I mean it was just a fucked up time, but you handled it as well as you could, and I don't know how I would have handled it because, I was, fucking everybody hated me as a boss too. So if it makes you feel any better, it's like,
it's a tough way to make friends. It's a tough way to make friends.
We used to like you, Fred, but you've turned into a total asshole. It's like, yeah, because it's because your bitch ass ain't doing your fucking job, and yeah. So. Anyway, all right, brother. So I won't see you next week, but I'll talk to you soon. Guys, please tune in Monday. Jerry Bow and I are going to have a big announcement. Actually, a couple big announcements. Don't worry, I'll tell you long before it actually happens. Some cool shit's about to happen.
Let's go.
Including those of you who like poker. So
I like poker.
I know. You're pretty good at it. Anyway, thanks, brother. I will talk to you soon. And everybody else, please tune in Monday. I'll have an announcement about what Jerry and I are working on. And until then, stay sportsy, Gulf Coast badasses.